Electric Fire, Chapter 12, My New Destiny.
Sonic was the first to wake up. We were in a helicopter. Both of us were in a cage, but separated. Sonic wasn't happy, unable to use his powers at the moment. But worst of all, the commander was sitting in the back of the chopper with us. The commander could tell Sonic was awake despite him not moving. Their eyes met. Sonic trembled a bit, noticing the weapon in the commander's hand. Then Sonic's gaze went to me. The commander kept watch on the blue hedgehog, then followed his gaze. I was still cold.
All right, Hedgehog. I know you're awake.
Sonic munched. His gaze went back to the commander when he spoke.
First question, Hedgehog. How long have you been on Earth? If you don't answer the question, well, I got a loaded gun. It doesn't shoot tranquilizers.
Sonic didn't like the idea of getting shot, and he didn't have a choice but to answer.
For 10 years. I was only a kid when I was sent here.
Sonic tried remembering when Longclaw had sent him through the ring portal. His ears lowered a bit, but then a rustle caused him to look back at me. I was starting to wake. The commander said nothing. He looked to me, then to Sonic. In one swift motion, he held his weapon above me.
No, don't shoot!
Sonic shouted. Finally, his power kicked in. The electricity sparked, eyes glowing a bright blue instead of an emerald green. The chopper was starting to spin out of control due to how intense Sonic's power was, but the chopper only lost control for a moment.
He's evil and he's the enemy, created as a living weapon.
The commander yelled back at Sonic. I stayed still, despite the situation I was in. He was right. I was created to be a living weapon, but I wasn't sure as to why. Maybe Gerald knew that one day the government would find out about his plans on finding a cure for his granddaughter, or they'd find out about that he was working with another being to create life. If I tried anything, this guy was willing to take the shot.
Don't shoot him! He hasn't done any harm since he's escaped. Okay, yeah, me and him destroyed a couple of drones and I attacked a helicopter, but he hasn't exactly destroyed any towns.
The commander just sighed and then he lowered the weapon. We were landing now. Sonic panicked a bit as the chopper rocked a bit as it was getting ready to land. We were in more trouble than I thought. Once on the ground, the commander put his weapon away and picked up the cage I was in. A soldier took Sonic's cage and followed behind the commander. Sonic wasn't sure where we were at, but he didn't like it, as the soldier followed the commander into a large building. Sonic took one glance outside to see a fence surrounding the building. He could see the chopper as well. We were soon separated. The soldier ended up taking Sonic into a room that said laboratory. We were now separated. Sonic was now likely to be tested on. I really wanted to break free and bust us both out. But instead, as Sonic's cage was set down on a table, while the soldier's back was turned, he escaped from the cage. He had brought his bag of rings with him. He must have grabbed the bag when he left his headphones and iPod at home. Next thing I knew, Sonic was back out in the hallway. He only had 3 rings left after what occurred with Robotnik. He decided to stop time for a bit. Nothing happened to me, though I was still able to move. He let me out of the cage, then ran back into the lab and put a stuffed animal in the cage before locking it. Then he went back into the lab and decided to leave a mess of chemicals, also tipping over jars and other things before using a ring to get us both back to Greenhouse. Of course, I joined in on the chaos. I helped to knock some stuff over, stuck a chair and a table, and the table was really light. Sonic wanted to try and lift one, but wasn't able to. But our fun was ended just as quickly as it begun. Staying to watch the scene unfold was a huge risk. We could get caught again. Sonic tossed the ring at a wall as the speed began to go back to normal. We both took off into the ring portal. We were back in the attic. We both landed on the car bed in Sonic's room. We both started laughing as the ring disappeared.
Oh man, I can't believe we both made it. That was awesome. I mean, the table flipping, that should take them a while to fix. I bet the floor broke under it too.
I just smiled a bit. Trashing a lab at the gun HQ was definitely not something I thought I would ever do. It was definitely one of the best things I got to do after escaping from isolation. We didn't dare tell Tom and Natty what had happened. Sonic then pulled a brown sack out of his quills.
This is the only thing Longclaw gave me when she sent me to this world. I only have 2 rings left. I guess I should have been more cautious with them when Robotnik chased me around. Longclaw said that there would be a lot of people who would be after my powers. If I'm ever found out about, then I'd have to leave to go to another planet. That's when she gave me these rings and this bag. They're mainly for emergencies, not for traveling. We might have to go to another planet if those guys come back. The portal doesn't last very long, though. We won't be able to bring a whole lot of stuff if we do have to leave.
Sonic let me hold the bag of rings. I reached in to grab a ring. My hand brushed up against a folded piece of paper that was also in the bag. At first I was curious about the paper, but I didn't pull it out. I just grabbed a hold of a ring. I didn't dare use one by accident. He watched me as I pulled out a ring and held the golden metallic ring in my hand before putting it back in the bag. I then reached for the paper as I responded to the hedgehog. Yeah, I could tell you don't like the thought of leaving this place behind. I mean, I don't want to separate you from Tom and Natty. You're happy here. Well, I can tell they enjoy having you here with them as well. And I actually feel at home here too.
That's where I'm from. Then over there is the Mushroom Planet. The place is unsafe now since Dr. Robotnik is there. He wanted to dissect me and take my powers.
The Mushroom Planet was scribbled a bit, but it was easy to tell what the picture was. It's alright. That's in the past now. We'll be okay. I'll try and keep you safe if they do try to take us again. Thanks for saving me from getting shot back there. I don't exactly know what that guy was going on about. I'm not evil. And well, I haven't exactly done anything to make me an enemy. Though we did both fight some drones and agents yesterday, we were just trying to defend ourselves. Sonic listened as I spoke. He never took his gaze off me. He tilted his head a bit as I went on.
It's no problem, Edgelord. You're my friend, and the only hedgehog around aside from me. Guess we're in this mess together. They probably see me as a threat as well, since we did trash the lab. That was awesome, but now I gotta be extra careful with the rings. I only got 2 left now. I think we can use one to at least go to another planet, at least for a little while, until those guys stop searching for us.
I just shook my head after hearing that last part. No, we aren't leaving, not even for a little while. We can figure out another way around this mess. It's too late for me to protect Maria and Gerald, but it isn't too late for me to at least keep you and your family safe. I folded the paper up and put it back in the bag of rings and passed it back to Sonic. Just don't use the rings until I come up with a plan. I am not letting you leave this place, not even for a little while. I'd rather try and defend it. I've been running since I was set free from prison. I'm done running. I then remembered my bucket list. One thing on it echoed in my mind. Avenge Maria. I then looked back at Sonic for a moment. There I thought I saw Maria standing behind him. Her blue dress was see-through, but she was hovering a bit. All of her was see-through. I could see where the bullet hit as well. Surely it was only my imagination, or possibly the spirit of her was actually there. I felt her presence, her eyes shining brightly as she smiled. A little, realizing I had noticed her, she whispered something softly, almost too quiet for me to hear. My ears gave a twitch as I tried to make sense of the words. Then it became clear to me. She said,
"This is your destiny, Shadow."
Then she vanished as I finally made sense of the words that had been spoken.